Hey, Berry Bunch. I'm Scriberry Jam, but you guys can just call me Berry. This is actually my first video, and I'm just going to jump right into it after the intro. But on this channel, we're going to do tarot readings on celebrities, cultural moments, popular moments, gossip, true crime, and whatever else we see pop up in the media that we're interested in. We're going to look at the energy behind things intuitively. We're also going to look into a lot of relationships and a lot of crime, cold cases, stuff like that. That's kind of the stuff I'm interested in. We'll also be diving into some politics as well if you guys are interested in that. I am still growing and learning with tarot and learning how to interpret my cards and learning to communicate with my guides. So this is also kind of like almost a video journal where not only can other people learn how to interpret, but I'm going to learn how I interpret and how to read better for myself and for others, and through the different topics that we choose together. So if you just like that kind of stuff, deep dives, politics, celebrities, gossip, all kinds of stuff, you're in the right place. So today, actually, I have a little notebook here, and this is very new to me. So don't be surprised if there's a lot of mistakes. I do want to keep a lot of my content, especially in the beginning and even just throughout the longevity of my channel in general, to keep it very authentic. I don't really want to be around editing constantly. I kind of just want a lot of like raw and uncut content. I just want my channel to be very authentic because I just don't want to create a character that's just not me. So if you like that kind of thing, you're in the perfect place. So today I thought that this would be a good topic to start with, and that will kind of give you an introduction to the way that I read. I don't really have a set way of reading or a set spread. I know a lot of people do. I don't. I just kind of read and go by what's comfortable. So today, actually, I do have a topic and a set of questions that I want to go through, and I will also link or name the decks that I'm using in this video as well, so that if you guys like any of them, you like the artwork or whatever it may be, or if you see something that you like in any of my videos, always feel free to leave a comment down below just to figure out, and I'll be sure to respond so that you can get your hands on those items too. I'm not a gatekeeper, just ask. Anyway, so today I really want to focus on Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And if you see me looking down or away, I am looking at my notepad where I have like all of my questions set aside, which you can see a little bit here. But I want to look into Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Just recently, actually, and it blew up everywhere. Martin Lawrence lost like 60 pounds or something. He was getting a little big, just a little bit. But then he lost a lot of weight and he looks really good. Like back to Bad Boys good. And he's like 60. Yeah. So, I just kind of want to look into that. Like, what's the energy around that? What caused that weight gain? Was there any underlying health issues? What led to him losing that weight? Is it going to last? How is he doing mentally? And then I also want to dive into Will Smith and their relationship, since a lot of the feedback on Martin Lawrence's transformation was about Bad Boys. And just recently they had Bad Boys 4 come out, and in the movie, if you guys have seen it, spoiler alert, Martin's character had Martin's character had a heart attack. So I want to see if any of that is relevant to his regular physical state at the time. And to see if that had anything to do with his weight loss, like if there was any truth to that. And maybe he ran the risk of having a heart attack, or maybe he did have a heart attack. I have no idea, but that's what I want to find out. To see maybe if that's what inspired his health journey. And then in doing so, I just kind of want to see, like, what's a relationship like? Is it business? Is it actual? Are they actually close? So I just kind of want to dive into that. And then if you guys have any comments or thoughts about my interpretation or what the cards are saying, or if you pick up on something else, or even if you have another topic for readings or whatever it may be, feel free to leave that in the comments. My description will also have my link tree with all of my socials and places to do personal readings. So if you guys are interested in any personal readings, I will be updating and revamping my Etsy, but feel free to check that out and purchase anything if you'd like. Let's just get straight into it. So I'm going to use this deck. It's very, 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 very pretty. And I've already cleansed with my singing bowl here. And then I just have a small piece of black tourmaline. I like to keep it in a small bag just because I like to carry it around with me. So sometimes I throw it in my purse and I don't really want it to get broken or scratched up. So I keep it in a little bag. There's a couple other decks here that I'll use, and I'll also use some tokens. I'll also use the other two decks that I'm going to use are Oracle decks. I will link all of that below, so there's no need to ask. If I do forget to, however, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll just respond, or I'll throw that in the description for you guys. Yeah, let's just get straight into it. Thank you, Spirit. I ask that you protect not only me, but anyone who is viewing our energy, our space. I ask that you allow me to get clarity and receive intuitive messages about the questions that I have safely and respectfully. I ask that any energy that comes in goes back to where it came from and is not allowed to stay here. Only the highest of beings that are attached to me are welcome in my space, in my home, and to communicate with me. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, let's get into it. I don't really have a set cleansing ritual either. I know a lot of people do, and people ask about that quite often. I do not. So if that's something you're asking about, I don't really have any, though I will respond about some of the things that I do to cleanse when I feel the need to. I kind of just switch between whatever I feel like works. So if that's something that you're looking for, just feel free to ask. No worries. Let's get into it, though. So first thing I want to know is what shifted for Martin? Oh, got some flipped over already. What shifted in Martin's energy and his life that led to this weight loss transformation? What shifted for him? What shifted for him? What led him to deciding that he needed to lose that weight? Apparently some of my cards are stuck together. But what led to him wanting to lose that weight? Oh, we got some cards falling on the floor. And like I said, like I don't do any set, spreads or anything like that. I just pull cards, and if I feel the need to ask more about it or pull a clarifier, I will. So if you're ever curious about that kind of thing, or if you guys are even interested in a interpretation video on each and every card, that's something that I may or may not do. If that's what you guys want to see, I would love to do something like that. Just let me know. But what shifted? So it looks like with the World card being reversed here, it looks like he was just continuing the same cycle. And with Temperance, it seems like he noticed it. And he was just kind of like, this isn't working for me anymore. I realize it's not working for me anymore. And Ten of Pentacles, this may very well have been, his health may very well have been affecting his family life. Or he was afraid that he would not be able to stay around or be healthy enough to provide for his family the way he wants to with the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. But I'm also picking up that at some point he was not able to provide or be as present for his family as he wanted to at the time. And with the Chariot moving forward tells me that as well, that he wants to move forward. He wants to do better for himself. He wants to do better for his family. And he wants to continue to be able to properly provide for his family. And it just feels like he wasn't able to do that before, or as though his health was limiting him. So will it last is my next question. Will it last? And what exactly did he do to change? What exactly did he do to change his life around? What does his health journey entail from Martin's perspective? And will he keep the weight off? Will his health stay as good as it is now? Will it get better? Will it get worse? So let's just pull on, for this first time, we're going to do, will it last? Will it last? What did he do, and will it last? Is a good question. Let's narrow it down. Take that Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands tells me that it's going to last, but also that he was very motivated. Yeah, the Hermit. The Hermit often for me is like isolation or pulling away to learn. I'm gonna turn the heater off real quick, so I apologize if you hear that. But the Hermit is like a willingness to learn. It's pulling yourself back and isolating yourself to study, giving yourself the time and space to think and to realize. So Ace of Wands and the Hermit tells me here that there was something here that he realized was no longer working for him, which in this case would be the cycles that we saw earlier, which pops back up again with the world again in reverse. And the Hermit, he's like, I really need to get this together. And it's like like he did a lot of self-reflection, I'm feeling. He did a lot of self-reflection and he realized, yeah, Queen of Swords. I'm not sure if Martin's wife is the reason why. Yeah, it's like his wife. I think his wife may have the Ace of Wands here, the spark or the torch here for him. Oh yeah, it absolutely is with the Ten of Cups. It's his family, but specifically his wife. And with her showing up as the Queen of Swords, tells me that I believe his wife had a heart-to-heart moment with him and essentially told him like, hey, your health is not great. And it's affecting the family. We're watching you essentially deteriorate and worsen and worsen. And Knight of Cups, like this is a loving conversation. Although with the Queen of Swords, it tells me it's blunt, like a tough love, heart to heart, is what I mean here. And the Ten of Cups is like, for our family, you need to change this. And the World in reverse is this cycle needs to end. It needs to end. And that is what got him into making that transformation. Can I have one more card on this? Oh, perfect. Yeah, so it's just like that really, yeah, Nine of Pentacles in reverse. For me, the Nine of Pentacles upright is independence. In reverse, it shows up as codependence, but it's also being in a relationship. Nine of Pentacles in reverse for me as well is pulling out of your comfort zone and working on things that you need to do. So for me, this Nine of Cups in reverse, or this Nine of Pentacles in reverse rather, tells me that he values his relationships and he does not want to be alone. Now, there could be a hint of codependency here, just because that's the way that I read the Nine of Pentacles, and maybe he's afraid of being alone. But part of me also feels like that it's not necessarily an unhealthy not wanting to be alone. It's more so like, I don't want to ruin everything I built because I can't get this one habit in control. Full in reverse, right? Because it's reckless, and I feel like to him, he realized that it wasn't worth it. Yeah, the Wheel of Fortune, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it, and the things that he was doing, the cycles that he was repeating, they weren't worth it to him. His family was worth more, and that's what he chose. So next, I also want to see, how is he mentally? How is he emotionally, Spirit? I want to see, and I'm going to do this a little bit weirdly compared to what I just did, but I'm just going to see how was he emotionally and mentally then at the time that he was, I think he was like around 280 pounds. And now he was at around like 240 pounds or something like that. So I want to see how his mental state was, his mental and emotional state was when he was around 240 pounds. And then now to him being about, I believe 180, if I remember correctly. I just want to see the difference in his mental state, his emotions. Is he happier? What was he doing? And what led to him getting to that point in the first place? Was there an emotional cause behind it? Did he go through something tough? That's what I'm wondering. So just want to find out. So this will be how he felt at the time that he was 240 pounds. And then I want to do another, and we'll see how he feels now. Knight of Swords in reverse. Now I feel that, for me, Knight of Swords upright is being reckless, very hasty, doing things a little bit too quickly. And I apologize if you hear that. But doing things too quickly, being reckless, being impatient, and not really thinking things through. So for this to be in reverse tells me that he slowed down, but I'm also getting the feeling that he's no longer taking his time for granted. He's 60. He's an older gentleman, but he's not like old, but he's getting up there. And I think now he's come to realize that, especially now that he's healthier, like, I not only does he enjoy his time now more, but he's no longer taking that time for granted. And he's using every bit of it to spend time with his family, to really like seek like fulfillment and to enjoy his life to the fullest. Now, at the time he was feeling King of Wands, he wasn't confident. He was very insecure. I don't know why, but I get the feeling that he was extremely insecure about his looks. Not necessarily, I do think part of it was his weight, but something about him not being happy with himself in any regard is there. It's like, it's almost as if like, I don't know how to explain it other than like, if you've been bullied or you've gone through a lot of judgment in your life and you get to a point where you're like, okay, I don't care, I'm just going to be me now. And then something happens and you like fall right back into your shell. That's the feeling I get with this King of Wands in reverse, is like something happened that stripped him of his confidence, like entirely. Not only with his appearance, I think it had to do with his career as well. Like he just feels, the energy with this King of Wands in reverse tells me like he felt knocked off his throne, like he had been kicked out. I also have a feeling, and I'm not sure why, something about the wands as well. Like he feels like he wasn't funny anymore. Like he just felt like he wasn't reaching his audience. He wasn't reaching his audience. I also feel that like part of him felt like he had been forgotten about. And with the Ten of Pentacles here in reverse tells me that there might have been financial issues as well. And maybe that's part of the reason why he feels like he wasn't quite reaching his audience, because his finances were beginning to take a hit as well. And that continued to pull at those insecurities. But I'm also seeing here that he was having issues at home. I'm getting the feeling of him being a stress eater or an emotional eater. Yeah, Ten of Cups, yeah, in reverse. He may have been having issues with his wife before this happened. And I'm wondering if that heart-to-heart moment where he was like, I need to get it together. I think whatever it is that set him off in the first place resulted in stress or emotional eating. And therefore, he just continued to spiral, and that was causing issues in his family and his marriage, which I did pick up on earlier. So that does make sense. Actually, I am going to set the Knight of Swords aside because we're going to come back to that. I just want to see specifically what set him off. Like when he took that really big hit to his ego that caused this initial down spiral as far as his health goes. What happened? What caused that? What happened? What caused that downward spiral in Martin's mental state? Take that to the cups. Oh yeah. Some relationship in his life took a really big hit. Yeah, Ten of Wands and Two of Pentacles. Yeah. There is a relationship, or there was a relationship in his life. I get the feeling that he's no longer in it. If he is, it's no longer, the dynamic has changed in a good way. This very well could be his wife. But I have a feeling it may be one of his children. I'm not quite sure why I'm getting that feeling, but something tells me that it was an issue with one of his children that set him off. The Eight of Swords in reverse for me is freedom, but it's also being trapped by the mind, like being your own inner prosecutor, I guess is a way to put that as well. Is that like there wasn't anything necessarily outside of his life that was extremely significant, but the most significant influence in this was his own mind. He was trapped in his own thoughts and his own insecurities. And Two of Cups in reverse, this was about a specific relationship, but something tells me as well that he had an extreme disconnect with himself. And I'm wondering if that's why it showed up in a relationship with one of his children. This is a disconnect with someone else here, but also himself. And I think that's because a lot of whoever this person is in the relationship that he was having issues with brought out a lot of his insecurities and triggers that he thought he had healed from or gotten over, and realized that that was not the case. And that's what led to the stress or like emotional eating. Um, and then the Ten of Wands here and the Two of Pentacles as well tells me that, oh, and I'm sorry, the camera's shaking. But yeah, the Ten of Wands and the Two of Pentacles here also tells me that he had a feeling that he was putting more into the relationship and carrying the burden of the relationship than the other person. He felt like he was being used. Yeah, the World in reverse. And that's what set the cycle. But this is also a cycle in itself where he tends to give more into a relationship than he's receiving. And that's a very unhealthy cycle for him. And that's also what causes so many insecurities. I'm feeling that one of the main insecurities that triggered this spiral specifically is the relationships that he's in where he gives more than the other person gives him causes almost like a thought process of him feeling like, why don't I deserve what I give? That's the energy that I'm getting from this. And the Seven of Wands in reverse is like, I don't feel like fighting for this relationship anymore, or I don't feel like fighting for whatever this is anymore because it's not worth my time. And I'm not gaining anything from it valuable. Oh, I got stuff on the floor. I'm not gaining anything valuable from this relationship. And I'm sorry, I hope you guys can still hear me. I know I'm moving a lot. But I'm not gaining anything valuable from this relationship. And as my wife, my kids, whoever has pointed out to me, it's not working for me anymore. And it's beginning to materialize in his life and his other relationships. And therefore, it's no longer worth it. Yeah, the Five of Swords in reverse. He's just like, I'm tired of always having to watch my back and expecting things to happen and having to brace for impact with whoever this person is, because it's just not worth it. So yeah, the Chariot, and he was just ready to move on. Like, it's time to go. He was also very tired of being stagnant. Five of Swords. I don't know. I just get the feeling that he felt like he was in a battlefield, like in a trench, and he was stuck there, like in no man's land. Almost like he just had to sit there and roll with the punches and hope that he made it out alive. And it seems like whatever this heart to heart was specifically, what's seeming like his wife, pulled him out of that, and he's realized, okay, this isn't worth it anymore. Now, if we go on to his current energy, where he's not taking his time for granted. He's really like, okay, I'm going to make the time that I have left worth it. I wasted enough in that spiral. I'm not going to waste any more. So what is he doing with his time? What is he doing with the time that he has left? How does he feel about it? What is he doing? How is he not taking it for granted? What specifically is he slowing down? What is he taking more time to experience, to live through? What is this Knight of Swords in reverse energy for Martin? Yeah, he's just like, the Four of Cups is being focused on one thing, or kind of like singling something out. In this case, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's almost like he's just like, I don't have time to worry about all the other bull and the other things that are happening. I'm going to focus on this. Five of Wands. Yeah. It's just like, I don't have time for conflict. I don't have time to fight. The High Priestess in reverse. He's like, that's not my responsibility. The High Priestess for me is like higher intuition. It's also like higher beings, like gods, deities, whatever it is that you may believe in. But in this case, and this is a new interpretation for me as well, for the High Priestess, it's not my responsibility. It's like, it's not my job. to fight with you about these things. So therefore, I'm not going to. Four of Cups, I'm not going to focus on it. I'm not going to give my energy to it. I'm done, basically. Yeah, he's just like, it's not worth it. That's not my job, and I'm moving on. That's yay. Hey. And for him to be in the space of like, I'm not taking my time for granted, that's the best way to be. That is the absolute best way to be. Is there anything else to say on this one, Spirit? Oh, Eight of Swords. You see, this popped up before in reverse, except this time this tells me like I'm free. Like that, like no longer feeling responsible or like he had to do that anymore. That Eight of Swords here tells me like he's just like, I'm free. I set myself free and I'm not dealing with it anymore. Now, I am curious before we move on to Will Smith and anything else, I want to see a little bit more about this person that specifically that set him off to begin with. I'm kind of getting like this. And I also do want to say and mention as well that I am working on strengthening my clairs. For me personally, my strongest clairs are clairsentience. A lot of times for me, my spirit guides will give me chills as a confirmation. And I also have, or the other strongest of my clairs is clairaudience. So I also hear things mentally, not physically as well. And I just hear like, he's not doing it anymore. And what lesson was learned is that some people are not meant for you. He learned a really big lesson about that. I also want to know who this person is. Who is this person? What is this relationship? I did see the Tower here upright. So it was a destructive relationship. It was a relationship built on a faulty foundation. It was a relationship that was never going to last. Who is this relationship? Who is this person that Martin Lawrence was dealing with that brought out so many insecurities in him that led to this spiral? If it's not a person, then what is it? The Queen of Swords again. It may be his wife. I mean, we did get a lot of cards earlier, specifically about a relationship, Two of Cups. We did get a lot of Ten of Cups. What was going on between him and his wife? His son. To me, that feels like a child. There's like something wrong with a specific child that was causing issues, which I did pick up on earlier, that it may be a child, and that to me, yeah, Eight of Cups. There's like a child. But the Eight of Cups makes me wonder, did his wife ever miscarry? Or have they ever lost a child before? If they haven't, Seven of Pentacles, a seed not growing. I wonder, and I'm going to quickly look this up as well. I wonder if Martin Lawrence has lost a child. I wonder if he's ever lost a child. I do see something about him and his ex-wife, Shamika Gibbs, dealing with infertility issues and doing IVF and having miscarriages, though it does say that those aren't confirmed. But my next question is, okay, he's not currently married, but his last wife was Shamika, which is the same wife that I'm seeing about the issues with pregnancy. So I'm going to assume that they are co-parenting and that this is something that has come up recently. with her, that maybe there was some sort of like unhealed trauma or something that was said. With Queen of Swords, it can be someone with a sharp tongue or someone who's too harsh. What happened between them about these kids, specifically about the children, specifically the ones that they unfortunately lost? And again, everything in this video is alleged and for entertainment purposes only. Yeah. Queen of Cups in reverse. Number one, I have a feeling that Martin felt like she wasn't being a good mother to the children that they do have. I also get the feeling that she was emotionally unavailable and that she not returned, but she had a lot of trauma from the infertility issues and losing children. And the Three of Wands just tells me like she had nowhere else to run. Like it just hit her all at once. Yeah. And the Two of Cups, part of me feels like maybe she didn't feel emotionally connected or supported by Martin at the time or even currently. And now that something has triggered that in her, that trauma in her, and has brought it back up, she went at him about it. And that is what sent him through his spiral of his own. She spiraled, that resulted in him spiraling. And it's like almost like those conversations where the both of you just have to blow up on each other and realize that like, and just kind of realize that like, okay, where do we go from here? How do we move forward? And it seems like that's exactly what happened here. With the Knight of Swords, especially facing Temperance, it almost feels like he was balanced and he was doing well at the time. Like this was Martin, especially since this showed up for him earlier. This tells me that he was balanced, like he was doing okay. And then here she comes in hot. And with swords, these are messages, these are words, these are thoughts, this is speech. This is just the mind in general. This tells me here that she goes straight at him, like arguing just hot and heavy, like straight in. She goes in on him about this. Like it's almost like a screaming match. Like he was fine, and then suddenly something triggered her, and then immediate blow up. And then the World, it's like, not only is that where this whole issue with him, with this stress eating or whatever this health issue is, started, this is something that has happened before, and something tells me that this may actually have been one of the reasons why they divorced in the first place. Shamika may or may not be emotionally unavailable. And I wonder if that is a part of the reason why they ended up having said divorce. Oh, Ace of Cups in reverse. Yeah. So it feels like a lot of that is what it just feels like a lot of that is why the relationship didn't work out. Ace of Cups in reverse. Like a lot of their love faded, and it was because of a lack of communication and emotional unavailability on her part. And I feel like she just didn't have really great communication skills. And for Martin, that was a non-negotiable. And actually, as I looked into the children or the potential missing children, it does say that he filed for divorce. And she did not. He filed originally, and the reason that he released was differences that they could not get over. With emotional unavailability, and everything's fine and dandy and everything's great, and then here she goes like a wrecking ball, and she chews him out verbally, whatever it may be, and freaks out on him out of the blue every now and then, on top of the fact that they were losing children, which I'm sure is obviously hard for the both of them, and I can understand why that could be strenuous towards a relationship, but that did not help. And that just sounds like what happened there, truthfully. Yeah, so let's go ahead and slide into the tea. Let's move on and head over to Will Smith. Now, I believe it was either a Facebook or a Twitter post. I want to say it was Facebook, a Facebook post from Martin, where he posted a video of him like paddle boxing. And people are saying bad boys, saying that he looked as good as he did in Bad Boys, whatever it may be. So, and that's what made me wonder, Bad Boys, what's up with him and Will? I want to know their dynamic. Like, how do they really feel about each other? Are they close? Is their relationship like strictly business? Are they actually bad boys for life? Or are they only bad boys for life as long as that movie lives? Just saying. I just want to see. And Will has, like, in the past couple of years, been in quite a bit of controversy because of his wife. So I'm also wondering as well, especially since we were getting stuff about Martin Lawrence potentially taking some financial hits. I'm wondering if any of that controversy had anything to do with that, or if that changed his opinion on Will or changed their relationship at all. So let's get into it. Let's see. And then after we get into their dynamic, we're going to use the other decks to pull some oracle on the two of them, on their dynamic specifically, and then kind of what they represent to one another as well. And then we'll pull a token at the end. I think I want to pull a token at the end of every reading that I do, or every video that I do, just to kind of get a general message from Spirit about the reading, about the energies that we talked about, the energies that we pulled, and just to see what they have to say about it, you know? So let's see. What is Martin Lawrence's, or rather, let's do it this way. Kind of how we did with the emotional state before. I kind of want to do that again. So let's see. Give me Will Smith's signifier in their relationship, in their dynamic. Who does he embody in their dynamic? And then over here, we're going to do Martin Lawrence's, who he embodies in the relationship, and then in the middle, how do they go together? What's the dynamic? How does it work? That's what I want to see. Okay, we're going to say that's Martin, since it flipped that over there. And then, can you give me Will signifier? And I do know that this is a commonly asked question, just for readers in general, like just from what I've seen, like how do you choose when cards fall out, stuff like that. I just follow my intuition. I just do. And I trust that my intuition guides me. So just like how that just fell out and I was like, oh, that's Martin. Yeah, that's how I do it. You may not read the same, you may not agree, and that's okay, but that's how I read. And I like to improve by learning, and that's how I learn, by doing. But back to the reading. Give me a signifier for Will. Who does Will embody in their, who does Will Smith embody in their relationship? I don't know why, but I just heard punk. I heard that Will Smith's a punk. This is all legend and for entertainment purposes only. I get that he's a punk. Page of Swords in reverse. Now, for me, Page of Swords upright is a message. Page of Swords upright is learning. It's exploring. It's studying. So for it to be in reverse, it's almost cowardly or being stagnant, not wanting to learn anything new, not wanting to change. It's also not speaking your truth, which, considering I heard punk, sounds about right. Just saying. Martin shows up as Ace of Wands in reverse. No, it's like I don't feel like this Ace of Wands was always that way in reverse, because of course upright, that torch is lit. That torch is lit, that fire is there. This being in reverse feels to me as though that fire in the relationship, or the willingness on Martin's part to continue the relationship, to maintain the relationship, fell off. It faded. That torch slowly died out. And this Page of Swords here, not only for me looking at this and interpreting this, but also hearing that he's a punk, um, this tells me that like Will is very closed off. Will is very closed off. And it feels like Martin kind of gave up on trying to be there for him. Not be there for him like he's not going to show up if he needs anything, but he kind of got tired of reaching out and trying to get Will to express his feelings, because Will never has, and truthfully, it seems like he never will. How did these two play in together? How do they coincide? What's the dynamic? Oh, okay. I'm also going to pull that one because that one flipped before this one fell out. Seven of Cups. For me, the Seven of Cups is having a lot of options or too many options and needing to narrow that down. So for this to show up here, and I've never interpreted it this way either, but the Seven of Cups here, excuse me, tells me that it was chaotic. It was very chaotic. King of Wands. Yeah. It's like their relationship, and this fell out on top of him, which makes sense because he also showed up as the King of Wands before as well, in reverse with him being insecure as far as his health, if you guys remember from earlier in the video. But it's like Martin always had to fight to keep it going. And on Will's end, not only did he never really put out like emotionally or express what he was feeling, but it also feels like, when he did, yeah, King of Swords. It's like when Will did say something, there was so much that Martin was like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. Like, what do I do with all of this information? And why did you wait so long to say anything? And why, like, you let so much build up? Where are you even going to start to fix this? That's what I get. Give me some more info on this. Actually, I'm going to put the deck back together and just put some more info. What else is there? What's this about? It just feels like Will would never like really express himself. Two of Wands, yeah, there was a lot of flip it over the deck. There's a lot of friction. Like, I don't know why, but I get the feeling that Martin asking him anything or trying to get like any sort of communication from Will about the way he was feeling would cause a fight. And that Seven of Cups is, and maybe that contributes to the chaos that I was seeing in that Seven of Cups. I ain't seeing anything on Trump right now, but Five of Cups as well. It's like, I get the feeling that Martin feels like Will is a Debbie Downer. Like everything was so negative. Everything was so negative. Everything was so melancholic. Everything was so incredibly miserable. In the relationship with Will, because he just had so much stuff going on, so much pent up stuff, so much unhealed trauma, and God knows what else that he had going on. And it just felt like he was never able to give him relief, but he also never tried, Yeah. Yeah. And then the Knight of Wands in reverse, it was like he just like he didn't even know where to start. There was just so much, and he didn't know where to start, but also Knight of Wands in reverse too, like. Knight of Wands in reverse here feels like Martin. Like this is Will and this is Martin. Like Will is coming off, at the very least to Martin, is very pessimistic. Like there was never a good side for Will. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter. There's no good side. Always bad. That's all he looks at. And it's like Martin is like, how am I supposed to help you or support you or be a good friend if when you finally do tell me stuff, you tell me so many things, like it's like he trauma dumps on him. And then Martin takes the time to sit there and like give him solutions and suggestions for each and every little thing he, Will rattles off. And then Will's just over here like, but I don't want to do that. But that's not going to work. But that's not the point. You know what I mean? Like those people, a contrarian, that's exactly the word. it's like Will is a contrarian. It's like he is so incredibly set in his pessimistic ways that there, quite frankly, just is no helping him. And I think that Martin realized, even how I said earlier that he has a cycle of giving more than he's receiving in relationships. It feels like that. It feels like Martin just finally was like, okay, you never take my advice. You never, nothing I ever offer or suggest or offer as a solution works for you. So I'm just not going to give you any because you're not going to do it anyway. So why waste the breath? That's what it feels like here. I was going to pull more on that, but I think that's really it. Like he just feels like, Will doesn't listen. And he's so caught up in the mental trap that he's created for himself by not expressing himself and healing all of his trauma and his wounds. And just like I got before from Martin, like he's not responsible for that, for anyone else's healing but his own. And he's prioritizing his time and his healing to enjoy the rest of his life to the fullest. That's just really what it is. So I think that kind of answered the question as well, like at least on Martin's thing, and I'll get one card for it because I just feel like it doesn't need such a deep dive after that. I think the relationship was genuine. I just think that Will is so unhealed that it didn't work. I think at some point it was genuine, but I do get the feeling that, they don't dislike each other. I don't get the feeling that Martin dislikes him. Yeah, the tower. It was just like it got too much. And because, Martin felt like he was always giving more, when he stopped, that was where their closeness ended. Yeah, Four of Swords in reverse. It's just like, I'm tired of fighting. I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out. And I have nothing left to give. And Martin pulled away. So I don't think it was for business. I think the relationship was genuine. But because Will is just so incredibly unhealed, and the way that Martin subconsciously reacts or responds to those kind of people, he burns himself out. And after, especially with that health issue and the issues in his family, with his family and his ex-wife, Martin's just like, it's not worth it anymore. So he pulled away. And I think that speaks to the loyalty. And I'm already have this feeling, but I'll pull a card to confirm, like, there's loyalty there. If Will reached out to Martin, needing something, I feel like the both of them would go come to the other's rescue. Would always be there to help out, like one call away. But Martin's just not going to do that. Yeah, Two of Swords. It's like, we're not as close as we used to be, but it's not an ending. It's not final. If you need me, I'll be there. But on Martin's end, it's like, I am not going to, the tower's in the bottom of the deck. I am not going to destroy myself or step into quicksand to pull you up and allow myself to sink. That's what it feels like with them. And then moving on, I want to see about the controversy with Will, with Jada Pinkett Smith, like August Alsina, and then like him slapping Chris Rock and all that stuff. And if I remember, and I don't even remember the timeline of it, but it made that slap and stuff. I don't even know when that was. It may have been before or after the Bad Boys 4 movie, but I do know that it was close enough to where I personally feel like that could affect or could have affected either Martin's perspective of Will or their relationship, especially business-wise. I wonder if Martin feels as though that entire situation could have and did affect, business for them, or ratings, or the way people felt about their movie because they're so closely related to one another career-wise. So, how did Martin feel about the most recent controversies that Will Smith was in? How does Martin feel? Did it change his perspective of him? Eight of Cups in reverse. Yeah, he felt like he had to walk away from him, like he had to separate himself. Why? why did Martin feel the need to separate himself from Will while Will was going through all these controversies? Why did he feel the need? I just heard, because it's not my business. That's what I hear. Martin just like, it's not my business, which tells me that like, it's not his business. Like, it's not my business. It's not my career. It doesn't affect me. But also like, it's not his business. Like, I have a feeling that Martin has known about the issues with Jada, and he has told him about the issues with Jada, and apparently they don't want to give me a card, but has told him the issues with Jada and has told him to leave or like given him suggestions or whatever, and Will does not heed them. And he's warned him about this kind of stuff, especially regarding their career, and he doesn't heed his warnings. And so Martin's like, okay, well, you have to deal with the consequences of that on your own. Yes, Seven of Wands, I'm not going to fight that battle for you. I'm not going to defend you. I'm not going to fight that battle for you. I told you, I warned you, and you still did it. Yep. What else? What else is here? Yeah, King of Wands. He's like, I'm standing on my own feet. I'm separate from you. I'm not dealing with that. And also King of Wands here gives me the vibe of like, I have my own things to deal with. Also, this is him looking away. It's just like, that's not my business. I don't know why, but I also hear like, you're not going to embarrass me again. Like I have other things, I have other avenues, I have other things that I'm working on, I'm interested in, and I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not going to deal with that. Is there anything else about how do they feel about each other in the current moment? And I think that's going to be my last question. This video is getting kind of long. And speaking of long videos, I do want to do a little bit more of long-term videos because, like I said, I don't really want to cut and edit a ton. I just kind of want it to be raw and authentic. So if you guys prefer the videos, or if this is too long, or you like them shorter, like about what time would you like them? About an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 20, whatever. You know, what do you guys prefer? What do you want to see? Yeah, just let me know. Just let me know. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see. And if you want to ask any more questions about the two of them or anything like that, or anybody else, just comment down below. I'd love to do a part 2 on this. But yeah, going back to it, how do they feel about each other right now? That's Will, and then Martin now. How does Martin feel about, actually, I'm going to reshuffle. Because I think I want to do a different spread for this specific question. Oh, that was useless. I want to do a different spread for this one. How does Will feel about Martin in this current moment? How does he feel? How does Will feel about Martin Lawrence? Wands. And then how does Martin feel about Will? How does Martin feel about Will? And the dynamic between the two? And like, what is their general relationship energy because of the way they feel about each other right now? Wanted to come out. So Will, this is how Will feels toward Martin, which is 9 of Wands. Will feels like he's walking on eggshells. Will feels like he has a very little margin of error right now. He feels like he really has to tread lightly with Martin in their relationship right now, which this tells me, especially with Martin feeling like towards Will, 10 of Swords in reverse, like this tells me that Martin wants to heal the relationship. He wants to repair the relationship, but 10 of Swords is like, I'm no longer going to put these swords in my back to keep them out of yours. And 9 of Wands here with Will walking on eggshells, it's like he is like, I really need to tread lightly. I need to get my act together. I can't keep dumping this on him because he's not going to allow me to. And I run the risk of losing him as a friend. And with the Hermit in reverse here in the middle as the dynamic between the two, neither one of them want to lose the other. They still value their relationship. However, Martin is just like, I am not responsible for that anymore. And Will is aware of that. And Will is trying to, I don't know that I would say better himself, but at the very least, like I said, he's walking on eggshells. He's trying to keep that behavior to a minimum in the relationship between him and Martin because he does not want to lose that. Yeah, Six of Swords. He doesn't want to, neither one of them want to lose the other. So I do think they have a genuine bond. I think there's a brotherhood there. They don't want to lose each other. They want to move on to having a better and healthier relationship. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles in reverse. You know, they don't want to lose everything they've worked for. And the connection that they've made over time, even from the movies, without the movies, you know, and they don't want to lose one another. So yeah, I would say the relationship is genuine. Yeah, the Star. They don't want to lose that, you know, and for the Star to show up in reverse here, I'm going to get a clarifier, but these three together to me is reading like, I want to move forward into a healthier part of our relationship. I don't want to walk on eggshells anymore. I want to be healthy. Ten of Swords and Martin's like, I want you to get better, but I'm going to better myself. If you heard that, that's my puppy. But then Seven of Pentacles as well in reverse, typically for me is being lazy or comfortable. But it's also like the seeds that you planted did not grow and now you need to find a new path. And here tells me like, they don't want to lose everything that they've worked for. They planted that seed. You know, it's sprouting. It's not exactly doing the best that it could be, but they don't want to have to dig that up. They don't want it to die. And they're working on growing that. And then the Star in reverse. And even if you look here, like the Six of Swords, that water is like, they're trying to water the seeds that they've planted of their relationship so that it'll blossom again. And the Star here in reverse is, this tells me like, they don't want to lose that sunlight. They don't want to lose that sunlight from their plant. Their plant's going to die. They don't want to lose that. And yeah, on the bottom of the deck, the Tower in reverse. I don't want this to end in a disaster. Ace of Pentacles in reverse as well is like, this is an opportunity for us to improve, and I'm not going to miss it. Yeah, and Ace of Swords is like, if I have to be truthful and honest with myself, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make the changes that I need to maintain this relationship because it's valuable to me. With that Ace of Pentacles as well, is like, this is irreplaceable. And there's nothing that I value the same way that I value this relationship is what I get from that. Now, that's kind of all my questions. If you guys have any more questions that you want to, you know, look into with that, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. I do have my Linktree linked just across the bottom of the screen that you can see down here. That's all there. My Etsy is there. My Etsy is a little bit out of date. I need to revamp that a little bit. So if you want to do a reading, I would say hold off just for a couple of days. I'm going to get that fixed up. However, everything else that is linked is still, it's up and it's ready to go. So if that's something you want to check out or look into or support me, just go ahead and follow me. Like anything you see, drop comments, just interact with my content. It helps push me out further, and I'd really appreciate that because I really do want to build and curate an audience of a space, of a safe space, and just a place where we can all kind of learn and just have fun together. Of course, I want everything to be like professional, but I don't want it to be stuck up, uppity, none of that. Like, we're casual, laid back. We're here for fun. We're here for tea. We're here for gossip, and we're you know, we're just here to enjoy spirituality and learn it together. So I'd appreciate if you guys would even recommend me to anyone else that you think would like my content or anything like that. Or just stuff that you like, you know. I'm more than willing to take requests. And there's more info on that kind of stuff and like how I work with that kind of stuff, especially in my Etsy shop. If you look at my policies and my FAQs, they are there. So if you're curious, feel free to look there. Everything's kind of on each individual platform. So if you can't find it in one place, I promise you it's on the other. Absolutely everything is linked in my Etsy shop. So if you're looking for something, check the Etsy or the Linktree and it'll be there. Now, before we end this video, let's go ahead and go in with some Oracle. We're not going to do a lot, but we're going to do some. There's this deck. It's a herb and botanical deck, and it has just some fruits and herbs and things and plants like that that I really like. So we're going to pull some cards from this deck. And I'm just going to do one card for Martin Lawrence's health in that situation, and then we're going to do a card of will of Martin in the relationship. So just the 4 cards. Give me a card about Martin Lawrence's health transformation. That one. Be Daisy. Be yourself. And I'm just going to quickly, and I should have had this out, but I didn't. Grab that guidebook in here, and this is the deck, if you're wondering, since I have it. It is the Illustrated Herbery collectible box set. I'm not quite sure how much I paid for this. I don't remember, but in case you're looking for it, there it is. And I will also show you guys the tarot deck that I used, just so that you can find that as well. I picked this up from a Books A Million. It is called the Floating World Tarot. It is gorgeous. I love this. This is absolutely one of my favorite decks. And I just go ahead and show you so that I don't forget to include that in the description or the comments. But for Martin Lawrence's health, we're going to look into the guidebook. Now, he got a Daisy that's on page 20. So let's see there. And I love the guidebook. It is absolutely stunning. So the Daisy, or in this case, this is about Martin Lawrence's health transformation. It says, Daisy comes from a huge family. Her sisters, Chamomile, Acadia, Boneset. Oh, I might be illiterate. Sorry. Whatever that says. Feverfew and Milk Thistle, just to name a few, are among her greatest healers. Luckily, Daisy learned early on that the best way to distinguish herself was to simply be herself. So despite her tomboyish appearance with white petals often tatty or rumpled, and her status as the most common of medicines, she'll heal a bruise and quiet inflammation, but nothing like her cousin, Arnica Montana. She's a favorite guest. She persistently finds her way into our homes and gardens to remind us over and over again that loving ourselves as we are is the very best medicine. So be kind to yourself. Perfectionism or wanting to be special, more beautiful, more magical, smarter, or the best cook, it's hard to realize that you're already wonderful just the way you are. Now, didn't we just talk about him being extremely insecure and feeling like he's not funny? Just saying. And yeah, and you know, even this, like here it says, find a photo of yourself where you were young. People are saying he looks like his younger self. Sounds like Martin. Sounds like Martin. Sounds like Martin. And I also feel that he compares himself to a lot of people, which is here as well. And this has a lot to do with appearance. And as I picked up before, like he has a lot of appearance insecurities. Now let's go on to Will, and then we're just going to do another for Martin currently. We're going to do one for each of them currently. Give me a card for Will's current energy. And I actually think I'm just going to do this Oracle deck. I think the other one doesn't quite fit this one. And this one is the Dark Mirror Oracle deck, if you guys just want to see which one I was talking about. I don't feel the need to use that one. So we're just going to go with this one. Give me a card for Will. What is Will looking like? What's Will's current energy? 1, 2, 3. Ripple outward, self-heal. And you know what? I was just talking about him being extremely unhealed and having a lot of trauma. So that sounds about right. But let's see what the Ripple outward self-heal has to say. Pretty, pretty Prunella. My teacher used to remember this tiny flower with fuzzy leaves and a snapdragon face. Prunella, or self-heal, is a weed thing. Small in the way of butterflies whose flapping wings can stir a hurricane half a world away. Like a pebble dropped in a pond, self-heal ripples outward, allowing healing to begin. She reminds you that one properly placed shift, no matter how small, creates concentric circles of effort, each amplifying change. Self-heal knows how to find the center from which all else flows. Ripple out from here, she whispers as she helps you discover the secret of your own true healing. If self-heal appeals for you, it appears for you. Y'all didn't hear that. It's time to drop your pebble in the pool. Yeah. It's just like he needs to sit with himself and look inward and reflect and heal those traumas. Because the energy that he radiates is that, he's so miserable and he's stuck in this cycle that people just, they pull away because they're not amped to deal with that kind of thing. Because again, they, just like Martin, they are not responsible. Other people are not responsible for your healing. And they are not responsible for your trauma. Though certain people may have caused certain traumas that you have, it is your job to heal them and to become the best version of you. And in Will's situation, he is not doing that. And that's what he needs to do. Now, what is Martin's current state? What is Martin's current state? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, or not. I'm going to go this one. This one I feel like is it. Red Clover, and I feel like it is it. To be fair, because not only we're talking about him potentially having heart issues, but having a big heart, like he always feels the need to help, and it was pulling away from himself. So just the imagery on this card makes me feel like that this is the one for Martin. Now, if we look at the page here for Martin, at the Red Clover, this commonly cultivated forage crop feeds horses, cows, sheep, and goats, and just about anything else humans keep at pasture. She plants your feet on the ground, 2 or 4, doesn't matter to her. While encouraging you to run a few miles or dive into the art project you've been avoiding, Red Clover wants you to get moving in body and spirit. She loves grounded action and will happily bolster your courage from the Latin word cor, which means heart. When you're acting from a strong center so you can step out and move forward. Bold but not rash, Red Clover gets your blood up so that you can show up early. So grounded energy and flow, and then counter reactivity. Often we deplete ourselves with ungrounded bursts of energy, physical, mental, or emotional, instead of cultivating steady flow. Red Clover's gift is grounded action. She helps us harness our vitality so we can move forward with purpose. And I feel like, considering what we got before, that's also very fitting for Martin. He's taking his time and he's moving in a grounded energy. He's not so reckless. He's not so worried about other people. And he's trying to balance himself out. And just like with all the movement that the guidebook was speaking of, like even his physical health, he's been moving. He lost that weight. The video he posted, he's waxing, he's moving quick, he's feeling young, he's feeling refreshed. So, I just feel like Martin is in a place in his life where healing is of the utmost priority for him so that he can fully and just truly show up for his people. But not only his people, but now also as well himself. And again, this is what that is. Just want to make sure you guys know. I'm going to give my credit where it's due. This beautiful deck, Oracle deck, and then of course, again, the tarot deck that I used today. But yeah, I just feel like this entire reading was very cohesive. And I think that it went pretty well. Let me know what you guys think about it, your interpretations of some of the things that I got. Whether or not you agree, or if you disagree, what you disagree about, of course, respectfully. Don't want any argument in the comments. But no, what else you picked up on? If there's something that you think I missed, or if there's any other relevance of the relationship or anything that's happened since then that you can think of that will be relevant and that has shown up in this reading too. But outside of that, I have these telltale tokens. I got these off of Etsy. And I found these from the Reckoning Co. Ashley, I love her. I have a deck from her as well that you'll see me using on this channel specifically for true crime. It's a true crime deck. So if you see that, and if I can find the link for these again, I will put that in the description if I remember. If you're interested and I don't, feel free to just reach out. And then I will go find that and reply to your comment or add it to the description with the link to the Etsy shop that sells these. I love these. And I think I'm going to kind of make it a berry bunch tradition at the end of every video to just, really pull it all together with a token from Spirit about what they have to say in general about the reading. So I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do every video. If you guys have anything else that you suggest or recommend that we do, kind of like a little tradition, or if you guys aren't feeling Berry Bunch or whatever it may be, hey, put in the comments and we'll figure out something together. We're a community. I'd like to build a community. Let's act like what? Oh, let's sit in here. Let's figure it out. Do it. Spirit, give me a token. Give me one last message before the Berry Bunch hangs out. Let's just see. What is it? What do we have to say about this video? We got 12. And I don't know what that is. It almost looks like stick figures, if that'll focus. Okay, I think that's the best I can get it. But that is 12. Let's see what that means. A dancing petroglyph. We go way back, old friends. And if that's not fitting for Martin and Will, oh Lord. Pick that up later. But if that's not fitting for Martin and Will, then baby, I don't know what is. Just saying. And you know, it makes sense. Like, they both know each other. They respect each other enough to respect the other's boundaries when it comes to Martin no longer emotionally taking care of him and Will stopping that behavior towards him because he values their friendship. So I think first video, first reading went very well. If you agree, or if you have anything that you think I could improve or how I could improve, I'd really appreciate any and all feedback from any and all of you that watch this, even if it's something like you deem minor. Any feedback would be great. Also, if there's any topics or anything, cases, true crime, politics, whatever it may be that you guys want to see from me, just drop it down in the comments. I did want to, and I was thinking about doing a part 2, kind of wanted to see what you guys were thinking about it. Potentially looking at Will Smith and to see if there's any connection with Diddy or anything that's going on there. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about that. So I just want to see what's going on there. But I also want to see what's up with his kids. How do his kids feel about all the controversy and what's going on? Even Martin. Just look into the kids. Like, what's going on there? What's going on with Jada? How does she feel? How is she involved? Just kind of looking into that. So if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing or watching, drop it down in the comments below. But, all right, Berry Bunch, that is today's reading. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment and engage on any and all of my social medias if you're on those platforms. I'd really appreciate it, and that always helps me out. If there's a case, topic, whatever it may be, leave it in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. And if you'd like a personal reading for yourself, and if you'd like to book one, again, my Etsy is linked below. The Linktree also has the rest of my social media, which all has my Etsy linked as well. So if you'd like to do a personal reading, go ahead and book one with me. I am going to extend my catalog and my listing so that there's more options for you guys. So if that's something that you want to look into, hey, go for it. Also, if you want to join the community and talk about tarot cases, spirituality, whatever it may be, my Discord is open. I'd love to see you there. You can talk to me and the rest of the community and mods personally, and I'd love to see you there. We can hang out. I'm thinking about doing some voice chats, playing events and things like that, and potentially creating my own products and selling them and doing giveaways and other cool events like that in the community. But I appreciate you giving your energy and your time to me and just spending time with me in general. So I'd say, Berry Bunch, stay grounded. Don't let anybody pick your berries, okay? Don't let any bugs get into you, girl. Stay safe. Use your discernment. And don't take everything literal. Live your life. Enjoy it. And I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.